Well, with what we just talked about a second ago, and as I alluded to in my platform, a lot of things have been said between the three of us, and a good portion of it, that is especially surviving in today's world of journalism, where journalists, whether they're a veteran or whether they're new, basically need to know it all. They're all moving to one-man bands, backpack journalism, which I'll be heading a workshop on at this upcoming convention. Education and training are key, not just for students and new journalists, but current journalists, whether they're at their jobs or even if they've been laid off. And quite frankly, a lot of this discussion, a lot of the improvements that have been had over the past couple of years, I must humbly say, I don't think any of it would have started where I have not founded the Digital Journalism Task Force to begin with, because that started to coalesce a lot of these concepts, not just concepts, but a lot of these real-world issues, where people, by creating the task force, it provided a forum for journalists, like-minded journalists, to come together, not just to help themselves within our own little group, but to share information with the organization as a whole and to up-and-coming journalists, so that they can be better prepared for today and for the future. That's just one part of it. And that continued shared communication, that continued team building still needs to take place. I am happy that Bob mentioned also the need to let others outside of the organization, including current managers and heads of current media companies, they need to know the same thing. They need to know that, as Bob mentioned, some of the best journalists in the world are NABJ members, and they are out there and they are there for you. But there are two ways of getting new employees or recruit, or there are two ways to build business. You can either be passive and think that you're high and mighty and everyone should come to you and resumes should be thrown in your face all the time, or you should be active. I think we need to attack that on both fronts. For those managers, because we can't change everyone's mind overnight. So for those managers that happen to be passive and think that, okay, people should come to me, I think the resume should be coming to me as opposed to me going out there on my own so much, well, fine, we can definitely work with that because we already have an array of good folks already in our database. So we simply provide that. For those who want to take a more active role, I think we can be prepared for that as well by staying in communication with those people that are hiring, so we know exactly where they are, so we can tell folks who are either looking for a job or learning our craft, know where to go and find these people that are actually actively looking for them.
Thank you. And Bob, you detailed 3 areas to target as a priority. And I'm asking you the same question. In terms of implementation, what would be your first step?
Well, the first steps, I think, are already being taken. I mean, when you go and you get into a news director's office and you sit there and you talk to them and you tell them, if you have an opening and you need somebody, a good journalist, let me know, I can get somebody for you. There are several people who have gotten opportunities because of that, just that kind of face-to-face meeting. There's no guarantee that if I recommend somebody or I send them a resume, they're going to get hired. But it's a lot better to at least have the opportunity to be interviewed than what they've had in the past. That's one thing that's already being done. As far as the training, you know, the things that I've talked about are things that have already been done in the last several years. The Media Institute has been very active the last several years. We had, I believe, in 2008, we had 1 Media Institute workshop per month, you know, much more than ever in the past, because we believe strongly that the training is necessary, that you have to get out there, and the training, as necessary as it is, it's not like, you know, we're going to put you in a workshop for a day and you're going to learn these skills on your own. You're going to have to learn yourself some of this stuff. This camera that you see being used right now, nobody showed me how to use that. I had to learn how to use it, and I'm still trying to learn how to use it. But that's what you have to do in order to make it in the business. So we can do some of the work ourselves, but you have to take some of the responsibility yourself too. The funding part, we already talked about that. You know, Google for the first time will be a sponsor at NABJ this year. Now this is a company that can support NABJ 24/7, 365. You know, the other company I mentioned was a healthcare organization. I told them about Healthy NABJ, which is taking place at the convention in Tampa. They may now come to Tampa to see that, so that they can become a sponsor next year when we're in San Diego. These are the kind of things that are already taking place. If I'm elected, I pledge to continue that work, and there's other things that I want to do also, such as taking a complete census of the television industry. And I don't want to run over my time, but we'll talk about that more later.